money is not what human beings project or imagine it to be or have recorded it to be in the simulacra historically of the tribe or the consensus consciousness. It may have started out as bartered goods or exchanged and transacted resources or even energy or support. And then it turned to, in some native tribes, shells would be exchanged as a sort of money. We've gone through copper coins, silver, gold as representations of stored potential collaborative energy, or at least in the past, cooperative energy. So if we say that money is an agreement, it says we agree that whatever we're talking about, whether it's paper money, electronic money, cyber currency, hard coins, gold, fuel, resources of any kind, if we've got an agreement that they have a certain value, an agreed upon value, so that if we receive them, that means we've gotten some of that value, or if we offer them, we've given some of that agreed upon value. And potential, in the past, potential cooperative energy, so that we could say, if I've got $100 and I want to go to the grocery store, the people that work there will agree that if I give them that $100, they'll give me $100 worth of groceries. They won't give me $200 worth of groceries, and they won't give me $50 worth of groceries. They'll give me $100 worth of groceries. Now they can change the value of the groceries, the price of the groceries. I'll still get $100 worth of groceries, maybe a different amount of groceries 10 years ago, yesterday, or 10 years in the future. That said, there's an exchange and transaction agreement. We try to make the exchange and transaction dynamics of humanity that lead to cooperative efforting for survival, for safety, for co-creation of environments that we would want to live in, such as houses, towns, or cities, or nations. We strive to create flexibility, ever more flexibility, sometimes seemingly too much. So cryptocurrencies might be used by the mafia to pay for drug deals, or for selling cyber weapons, or those sorts of things. So that degree of flexibility of agreement, supported by an infrastructure of cyber currency, or people buying drugs for cash or buying weapons for cash, that degree of flexibility encompasses, of the model of currency, encompasses many different options of co-creative or co-destructive effort in our world. So Russian oligarchs might accumulate massive amounts of money and utilize them in ways that other nations might not prefer. The same is true of billionaires in America. This dynamic of accumulation, of massive accumulation of this agreed upon collective energy, creates a potential to wield that energy in either constructive or destructive ways, either healthy, discernibly healthy and sustainable, ecologically sustainable ways, or in discernibly very destructive and damaging ways in our world at large scales. Human beings tend to look at more of anything as being better. If I've got 10 boxes of dirt and you've only got 5 boxes of dirt, supposedly I'm better. because I've got more boxes of dirt than you do. If I've got 10 barrels of toxic radioactive waste, I'm better than you because you've only got 4. We're being a little facetious. And that said, there is a part of the human system that looks at accumulation of anything as a sign of status, betterness, or safety, or empowerment. So that's how unconscious and dysfunctional the substrata of social tribal process can be in regard to management of resources, in management of money, in accumulation of resources, accumulation of money, in determining what money is and what money isn't, how money can or should be used, how money cannot or should not be used. So if you were hanging on the edge of a cliff and someone walked up with $10 million in a big box and threw it so that if you dived off the cliff, you could grab that box of money and you could have it all the way down to where you were crushed to death when you hit the rocks below. Is there a part of the human system that would say, gosh, I better jump at that box of money? And would that be the most conscious part of ourselves? Most organizations in our world are for-profit organizations. Even nations could be looked upon as for-profit organizations or organizational entities, even though they might not want to profess themselves as such. So what that means is they operate from what's in it for me, what am I going to gain, what can I accumulate, how will I be empowered, how will I be benefited? Just to say the word profit is to say, I'm going to get more of something than I have given. Now, if we operate as a species from profit motive in interaction with the ecosystem, we will take more than we replenish. There will be an imbalance. If we meet any for-profit organization and start negotiating and collaborating with them, inevitably there will be some for-profit motivation, some seeming benefit, some co-optation attempt, some competitive advantage sought, some way to keep the current machine of the economic system running and keep their position and status within that machine, either as it is or raised to some higher imagined potential status. And if these organizations look at profit as the first highest priority in their interaction with us, or co-optation of what we have to offer, then they will attempt to strip us for parts as an organization to get information without giving, without collaborating, without even exchanging, or they'll want to see it as an exchange and transaction dynamic in which they're benefited, whether we are benefited or not, and that they are benefited in a tribalistic for-profit way that just exacerbates the global issues and problems of climate change. So in order for that result not to occur, there must be a buffering communication and educational process between us and them. So if we're saying that the spacecraft is meeting the vehicle in space, the space station, and we're the space station and they're the spacecraft and we're meeting, and they project onto the process, well, we don't even want to talk with these people unless it's going to make us money. We don't even want to talk with these people unless it's going to solve a problem or a pain point in our organization. Or we don't even want to talk with these people unless it's going to empower our market, us in the market, or increase our market share, or profit our investors. We don't even want to talk with these people unless we can manipulate them in some way into giving us whatever they have to offer so that we can then have it and get it and acquire it and use it to continue to tap-rootedly affect the world. And that's what we call a good deal. Does it make sense that redefining the terms of relationship and the collaborative dance foundationally in regard to money and profit and benefit and exchange and transaction dynamics must be at the leading edge and setting new priorities transcendent of profit and of money and of transaction and exchange in traditional terms, that new definitions must be arrived at proactively and preemptively and educationally, and that we must model that for them. We must walk that talk and dance that dance for them so they can see that that dance actually works. It's an enjoyable dance. It's a fun dance. It's a great dance. They will benefit, not profit, benefit from it immeasurably, and that we must communicate it in terms that they can understand to be foundationally, comprehensively beneficial. That's a learning curve. How we approach that learning curve practically, substantively, specifically, intelligibly, and consistently as we approach many different organizations that operate very differently culturally than us, and they operate unique to their organizational cultural paradigm or their market niche or their organizational culture's history and belief system or their competitive dynamics that they're bought into and heavily invested in, and help them understand that only by choosing to prioritize investing in conscious collaboration can they truly prosper, truly benefit, transcendent of money, transcendent of traditional exchange and transaction dynamics, and that it's incumbent upon us to have those educational materials at the ready and to proactively make them available to these organizations so that they can understand that a comprehensively new paradigm is required in our world that actually is sustainable and works, that is not focused on accumulation and competition and voracious feeding and dog eat dog and one tribe destroying another in order to prosper or profit. This is a redefinition of the tribal dynamic of humanity in the macro and the organizational cultural dynamic in the micro, and in the more significant micro in the individuals in these organizations we interact with, in order to help them understand when, where, how, and why a new way is necessary, when, where, how, and why that new way can be manifest, created together in intimate collaboration, in shared understanding, and in shared caring love for each other, in friendship, in recognizing our oneness, and that we're there to serve them, that the WSS is here to serve their process, to honor them, facilitate their evolution and transformation, to respect them, to love them, to be their friends and to care for them, and to be there to meet their needs as best we possibly can. So this, we would suggest, as a last statement very specifically, this is about relationship. This is about redefining, recommunicating, reeducating, remodeling dynamics of relationship between organizations, and that the imagined dynamics of transaction and exchange are simply part of the flow of that relationship evolution.